understood that there is the assignment because we don't have to read everything by heart and we don't have to make notes out of it. We have to focus and identify the important areas according to the syllabus. And after watching a few months of Hindu analysis, I was capable enough to read Hindu on my own, and I was able to identify the focus points. I used to read newspapers from childhood itself, and many retired bureaucrats are also writing in this paper.
Right.
And they analyze the topic at hand from different perspectives, which will also nudge us to think in the same lines. And if we are referring to other papers also, we would get so many diverse opinions and we get to create our own opinion, which is very important for mains examination. So mostly 1.5 to 2 hours were needed for reading the paper in depth.
Was it only during when you were watching the Hindu analysis sessions, or regularly you would give 1.5 to 2 hours?
For example, in a prelims question, there are A, B, C, D options.
Right.
Maybe one would be about the current affairs, but the other option would be about the static portion of that subject.
Correct.
So if we don't know this and we are just reading the newspapers on the headline basis, it's of no use then.
True. One of the biggest challenges faced by IAS aspirants is how to cover current affairs, especially how to read newspapers. Most beginners, they are clueless about which newspaper to read or which articles to select and how to connect that with the static portion. Newspaper reading, trust me, is the building block, the basic foundation for your IAS exams. And to solve this problem, today we have a special guest with us. We have Dr. Sreelakshmi, All India Rank 133, a student of Unacademy online classes. Welcome, Sreelakshmi.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the spectacular result. So today, can you shed some light for our students in a short session of 10-15 minutes and help them understand which paper to read, how to read newspapers, what's the importance of current affairs? So maybe I'll start with a question.
Okay.
So when a student begins preparing for this exam, they tend to focus a lot on the static part, maybe starting with NCRTs or core subjects. But I have a different advice to my students. I always suggest that at least for the first 1 or 2 weeks, please read newspapers. And the first thing they tell me is, sir, I don't know how to read. I open the paper, I don't know which article to select. So what's your take on it? How do you approach newspaper reading and how important are newspapers for this exam?
So as you said earlier, newspapers are one of the basic foundation stones for this exam. So in order to read them effectively, I initially used the Hindu analysis sessions of an academy, and I noticed one thing, that they are not discussing every single article, but they are relating it to the syllabus points. They would be mentioning the GS3, GS4 topic number on the slides. And I understood that there is the assignment because we don't have to read everything by heart and we don't have to make notes out of it. You have to focus and identify the important areas according to the syllabus. For that, you have to know the syllabus very well.
Right.
And after watching a few months of Hindu analysis, I was capable enough to read Hindu on my own, and I was able to identify the focus points.
Right. Hello, IAS aspirants. I'm sure many of you would love to take part in a quiz competition. If yes, then listen to me carefully. We are conducting the Unacademy Civil Services Championship Test, where you get to attempt 50 questions and win attractive rewards. But that's not the exciting part. The top 32 performers will be chosen for one of India's biggest quiz competition, where the winning team stands to win a cash prize of 5 lakh rupees with a total cash prize pool of 8 lakh rupees for the top 4 teams. And the best part, your travel and stay for the quiz is entirely on us. So head to the description box now and register for the UPSC test on 11th April at 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Now back to the video. So can we get a little specific?
Yes.
When did you start watching the Hindu analysis on our YouTube channel? How long did you watch it for? How many months?
Yes, sir. I used to read newspapers from childhood itself, but I watched the Hindu analysis from June to about September. And after that, I used to read my own. I started to read on my own, which was also time effective.
Right.
because we can skip the portions which we don't think are important enough. But I used to see the questions that every day would be put forward by the educator after the Hindu analysis, and I would try to write answers to them.
Right. So what Sreelakshmi is referring to are the practice questions that we give after discussing the newspaper articles. And some days we even discuss the answer writing approach. So she would diligently note down those questions while watching the sessions and practice answer writing. So now, Sreelakshmi, can we talk about which paper were you reading? What was your preferred newspaper?
I used to read the Hindu, but the Indian Express is also good. But for me, particularly, the layout was comfortable from the Hindu.
Right. So when you opened the Hindu newspaper, how would you go through the articles, like from the front page towards the editorial column and the business and the foreign section? How would you pick those articles? Uh, I mean, I want to know your thought process. How would you link that with the static subjects? And within the article, which points were relevant? How would you identify that?
So I would go through the paper once basically. After that, I would relate it to the syllabus points. I have the syllabus printed in my home. So I would in the first few days, I had to look into the syllabus and then look into the paper. But later on, I memorized the syllabus on myself. And I used to relate it. And for interview preparation, I focused on editorials. And the newspaper is such a good resource that we can prepare for prelims, mains, and interview from that itself.
Right.
It would
And
give a
and
good
not just that,
vocabulary. Yes.
many students assume newspaper is only to pick up current affairs for the exam.
Yes, sir.
See, that is absolutely true. Current affairs is a core part of this exam. The dynamic portion defines your prelims, mains, even your interview. But apart from that, newspaper will teach you a lot of other things. For example, it will improve your comprehension ability, especially when you read editorials and columns. And this helps in CSAT paper, in the comprehension questions. It will improve your answer writing approach. When you read these articles written by experts, you will obviously understand how to begin your discussion in an answer, how to give an introduction, how to correlate the points with other related topics, and how to conclude. And that answer writing approach is something you'll start developing. And I think your vocabulary will also start improving, especially when you read papers like Hindu or Indian Express. The language which is used will be of immense help to improve your English, to improve your writing and even your speaking skills. So do you agree with that?
Yes, sir, surely. And many retired bureaucrats are also writing in these papers.
Right.
And they analyze the topic at hand from different perspectives, which will also nudge us to think in the same lines. And if we are referring to other papers also, we would get so many diverse opinions and we get to create our own opinion, which is very important for mains examinations. We have to analyze the problem, and that critical thinking is necessary for passing this exam. And one thing is that there would be examples. For example, I used to read the local edition. Many suggested me to go for the Delhi edition, but I used to read the local edition. But from there, I could get the local examples to write in the mains examination.
Right.
And I used to integrate such examples from other editions also, which were available in Telegram and other groups and all.
Perfect. Now, can we talk about how much time were you spending on a daily basis on newspaper reading? On an average, how consistent for you and how much time were you giving for newspaper?
So mostly 1.5 to 2 hours were needed for reading the paper in depth.
Was it only during when you were watching the Hindu analysis sessions or regularly you would give 1.5 to 2 hours? I ask this because many students, they keep telling me to reduce the time duration because across the industry, you have many Hindu analysis sessions where they do it in 25 minutes, 30 minutes. But we've always believed that the Hindu newspaper is beyond just current affairs. As I said, it will help you in many different aspects of this exam. So we dive deep into each and every article, cover the background, and ensure that we build that critical thought which you were mentioning, so that students can think on their own, express their viewpoints. And this will not come through quick sessions where you just give out the facts. So along with the facts, I think presentation of the analysis is what will help a student. So do you think spending 1.5 hours in watching the Hindu analysis was beneficial?
Yeah. And in exams, one thing is that they are not asking dynamic questions only. Like they wouldn't be asking current affairs only. They would integrate static portions with it. For example, if in a prelims question, There are A, B, C, D options.
Right.
Maybe one would be about the current affairs, but the other options would be about the static portion of
Correct.
that subject.
Correct.
So if we don't know this and we are just reading the newspapers on the headline basis, it's of no use then.
True. I think that is very true about mains questions as well. Let's say if you remember one of the PYQ on NATO that was asked recently, it was because there was a new development with regard to the Ukraine conflict, the question was picked. But without knowing the background and without having the ability to analyze that, I don't think students would have been able to write good answers to that.
So to explain the nuances, you need that time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing justice to the.
Right. So now other students, our paid students especially, one doubt they have is, should I attend UCAN classes? For those who don't know, UCAN, Unacademy's Current Affairs Navigator, is a regular current affairs session that we hold on the app. And this is exclusively just for our paid students. So every month we have these 15 sessions where subject-wise current affairs is discussed by the respective faculties. So students ask me, should I watch UCAN or should I watch Hindu analysis on YouTube? Because they can't do both. What's your take? What did you do? Did you watch Hindu analysis always or did you focus on UCAN as well?
Sir, if you can read a newspaper on your own, then you just have to read the paper and attend UCAN. Otherwise, you can go for Hindu analysis. In UCAN, the plus point is that you get the compilation of a full month. So that is easier to revise than the Hindu analysis. But Hindu analysis guides you how to read the paper.
Right.
So that is the first step, and UCAN is the next step.
Okay. So you start with Hindu analysis videos on our YouTube channel, then start reading paper on your own. Along with that, UCAN would help you in compiling everything with
It
the notes.
also will help you to revise.
Revise as well. Right. So one last point, coming to revision. What was your approach? Did you make notes from newspaper and current affairs? Because over a period of 12 months, there would be so many topics, easily 1,000+ topics. And it becomes almost impossible to easily recollect and revise that. So what was your revision plan for current affairs? Were you doing it weekly or monthly or just before the exam? What was it?
I used to revise weekly and monthly also with the monthly magazine and UCAN PPTs. And
So you would download the UCAN PPT, save it with you, and so that you will revise that weekly.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And for notes, I knew that if I am going to make notes out of it, it would be very bulky.
Right.
So I maintained a mains enrichment book in which I would write good examples from newspapers only so that I could add as value in the mains examination.
Right.
Otherwise, I didn't make any notes.
And for our viewers, I was just going through some of her notes. She has brought it to our office today. It is so detailed. She has written down what she has learned in the classes on one side and updated all the current affairs from UCAN and Hindu analysis in the same book. Basically, she has created a one source for a revision, right? And I'm sure that would have been very helpful at the last minute to revise everything. So that also talks about the effort you put in, the consistent effort across subjects, being regular in classes, reading paper on your own, and attending UCAN. So I think that comprehensive approach, I think, is what has taken you through.
Yes.
Right? So finally, without newspaper reading, can a student clear this exam?
I think no, sir.
Huh.
But that's my view. I don't know about others. Maybe some would be okay with the compilations or not. But I got very great insights from newspapers, which I wouldn't trade off with any other resource. So
Because I remember just 2 days, I think, before your interview, you had messaged, sir, can we have a call? And I think we spoke for like 1 hour. Throughout that 1 hour, her only doubt was about all the recent developments. Sir, how should I answer this diplomatically? If there is a question on Gaza, Iraq war, Iran tensions, how do I answer this? I think there was one specific question on World War III,
yes, sir.
where you were.
Whether we will go three or not.
So I think for these kind of questions, newspaper reading comes in handy, right? Because it enhances your worldview. You think from different perspectives. I think that is something students should realize because many students have this assumption, as I said, that newspaper is just for facts and current affairs, which is not, right? There's a lot of other things you gain from it,
We learn to analyze the things.
right? Any last piece of advice for the students?
Don't take it as a waste of time. The reading the newspapers is very worth it, and you gain a lot of great insights and enlightenments from newspapers. Whether it is Hindu or Indian Express doesn't matter. How you read the paper matters more, and make the most out of it. Don't just read for namesake or just because some topper said so. Read it for yourself. And you have to be connected to the surroundings also to become a good civil servant. So think of it as an investment, the future also.
So thanks a lot, Sreelakshmi. You are one of the most humble toppers I've ever met. I really wish you all the best in your career, and I'm really sure that you will serve the nation and you will make the nation proud.
Thank you so much, sir. The pleasure is all mine.
So that's it. I hope this session inspires you to focus on current affairs and newspaper reading. And if you're a beginner, if you don't know how to read a paper, do watch our Hindu analysis every morning on our YouTube channel, which is Unacademy IAS English. That's it. Thanks for watching. Let's crack it.